And guys, I want to give you a list of signs that may indicate that your child is experiencing abuse. So, number one, changes in behavior, physical symptoms, academic decline is one of the top ones that we don't realize. Fear of certain places or people, inappropriate sexual knowledge, regressive behaviors. Now, I want to jump into signs of abuse for teenagers. Isolation from friends and family is number one. Sometimes when children, teenagers, feel the need to isolate themselves, if a friend suddenly cuts off communication or withdraws from social activities, it could be a sign they're dealing with something serious. So when I say look out for the signs, there are always signs. Even if the sign is wee bit small, it's a sign. Pay attention to it. Jot it down. Memorize it. Right? And when he said that, that's how he knew it was true and something was really going on, because he saw the change in me. He saw the decline in my personality, my behavior, my happiness changed. So he knew something was going on. And he said to me, I said to him, so why didn't you do something earlier? He said, because he didn't have to. Hello, guys. Welcome back to sDeceitPodcast with me, your girl, Jen Simpson. How are you guys doing? Hope you're having a phenomenal day, afternoon, morning, night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back. Guys, as we celebrate Black History Month, I want to take a moment to truly honor, guys, the resilience, strength, and incredible contributions of the Black community. My community, my Black people, my Black sisters, my Black brothers, my aunties, my uncles, my grandparents, my mom, my dad. I honor you guys. I love you, love you, love you, love you. This month serves as a powerful reminder that it's not how we started that determines where we'll end up. It's not where we started that will determine how far we'll go, where we can go, and the things that we can accomplish. But it's about the purpose and the calling that God has on our lives. So, with it being Black History Month, I want to remind you to really focus on your purpose and what God has for you. You know, sometimes we forget and we're focusing on all the things that are happening in the world, all the noise and everything. But focus on your purpose and your calling that God has on your life, guiding you through every single challenge that you are going through. He never leaves us. He never forgets us. He's never late. He's always on time. And I used to use this term that God's always cooking up something. You know, when things are silent and you feel like the world's against you, God's always cooking up something. So just know that he will never leave you. And speaking of the challenges we are facing in our life, I hope you had a lovely, 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 lovely Valentine's Day. I hope that it was filled with love and relaxation and you spoiled yourself. Remember, the most important love story you'll ever, ever, ever have is the one with yourself. Yep, the one with me, the one with yourself. So let's take a moment to reflect on self-love, appreciation, and the importance, the true importance of nurturing our own well-being. So for Valentine's Day, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I was at work late. I got home late. My dad had surgery. He had lung surgery. So in the morning, I took him to his appointment and then I went to work and we have closings coming up. Yes, over 300 closings. You guys know I still work in real estate, but I got to spend some time with my kids. We had dinner, we watched a movie, and we all fell asleep together in one bed. So I had an amazing Valentine's Day, just spending it with my loved ones. Guys, so in our last episode, we had an incredible guest, my sister, Ty Threets. She shared her transformative journey from teen parent to corporate leader and CEO. That episode, I hope that you guys had an opportunity to watch it. If you haven't, click the link below and please watch it. She is an amazing powerhouse, loving sister of mine. She reminded us that breaking generational cycles, generational patterns, often requires someone to take that first step into the unknown. Sometimes we don't know what's going to happen or what's ahead, but we got to just go in, dive deep, and understand that breaking generational cycles comes with things, and we got to do it even with the fear inside of us. Move with fear. It's okay. So today we're shifting gears to discuss a critical topic: recognizing and addressing abuse in our communities. And that's something that Ty touched on. And, she touched on it mostly with teenagers and how we can break and identify things, especially for the most vulnerable ones among us. We go through it in silence, and we don't realize sometimes that the people around us are going through these things because they're good at hiding it. So I want to talk about signs of abuse in children because my parents missed it. And it's important for us to sometimes just take a step back and, yes, question ourselves. So as parents, guardians, and mentors, it's crucial to be vigilant about the signs of abuse that can affect our children. And we don't even realize it. Abuse can be manifested in so many ways and so many forms. And sometimes, because we're moving and life is happening, we don't always recognize those those forms can be either physical, emotional, sexual, and neglect. And guys, I want to give you a list of signs that may indicate that your child is experiencing abuse. And the reason why I want to do this is because it was hard for me, because I thought that my mom was noticing it, but I forgot that my mom had a life. She was trying to maintain and take care of my brother and I, and made sure that we had what we needed. So, number 1, changes in behavior. Sudden shifts to withdrawal, anxiety, or aggression can be a red flag. Sometimes you don't even see it. Sometimes you don't even notice it. You just think that your child is just acting out because of hormones, or, they're growing and schoolwork, or, the burdens of life. Children often express distress through their actions, and we pass it off as, oh, they're just going through a phase in their life. They're growing. They'll get over it. It's nothing serious. But that's the number 1 sign that you have to pay attention to. Physical symptoms. Number 2, physical symptoms. Unexplained bruises or frequent doctor visits. My single physical abuse. Be attentive to the injuries that seem suspicious, because when you see injuries, sometimes you think, okay, fine, maybe they just got hurt playing or doing something. But those bruises, pay attention to them. Ask questions. But also give them grace while you're asking questions. Don't make them feel like you're attacking them. Number 3, academic decline is one of the top ones that we don't realize. A sudden drop in their grades or a lack of interest in school can indicate emotional turmoil in a child that's being abused, stemming from abuse. But a lot of times when we see kids declining from their schoolwork, we think, they just don't like school. It's a phase. They'll get over it at some point. They'll understand school more, but pay attention to those signs and start asking questions and give them support. Number 4, fear of certain places or people. If your child seems anxious about going to school or being around specific adults, take it serious. My daughter speaks to me through her body language. Sometimes Leia and I will go places and I could see her body language change. And I know that she's speaking to me to let me know that, Mom, I'm uncomfortable around this person. And then I have a conversation with her, whether it's in a place where we're eating or talking or doing something that she loves so she feels more comfortable. Number 5, inappropriate sexual knowledge. Children, sometimes with knowledge about sexual acts that aren't age appropriate, might, I said might, be exposed to sexual abuse. A lot of times we don't realize because, society now is over sexualized. So we think, oh, it's just normal. They're learning from social media. They're kids. They're exploring the world. They're hearing it. So that's why they're using it. Pay attention to it. And number 6, regressive behaviors. As previously pointed out, trained children wetting the bed again or reverting to thumb sucking can signal stress or trauma. We hear these things and we think, please, that's nothing. My child just loves sucking their thumb. No, pay attention to it. Biting sheets, certain things, these are signs that we need to pay attention to and not just sweep it underneath the rug because we think it's normal. Pay attention to it, please. Now, I want to jump into signs of abuse for teenagers because you remember Tide Threads talked about certain things that, we don't realize in teenagers. Now, let's just take a moment to pivot to our teenagers. This age group faces unique challenges. So it's essential for you to recognize signs as well of potential abuse because, sometimes when our teenagers are growing, we don't always realize that, hey, this happened to them because life happens and we're human. And we hear all these stigmas about teenagers and we don't realize not all of them are from a troubled teenager. It's from something traumatic that's happening in their life. So here are some indicators for your teens that you should watch out for. Be vigilant, question it, but question them safely. Isolation from friends and family is number 1. Sometimes when children, teenagers, feel the need to isolate themselves, if a friend suddenly cuts off communication or withdraws from social activities, it could be a sign they're dealing with something serious, something that's going on in their life. There's a shift happening in their life and they want to disconnect themselves from everybody so they don't have to talk about it. They don't have to feel. They feel like people are seeing through them what's going on. So they try to isolate and separate themselves from everybody. So pay attention to those signs. Number 2, frequent mood swings. Yes, teens are growing up and yes, they're going through different emotions, but that's an indicator. Extreme changes in mood, including anger, sadness, or anxiety, this may be a direct indicator. Underlining issues, including abuse, because their emotions are all over the place. They don't know how to handle what is going on with them. So please pay attention to it. Be okay and have transparent conversation with your child about what's really going on with you. Number 3, substance abuse. Believe it or not, teenagers use drugs. Pay attention, search their stuff. Increasing use of drugs or alcohol can be a coping mechanism for someone trying to deal with trauma. And a lot of times we don't know our kids are taking drugs. We don't know they're drinking. We don't know what they're doing outside. You have to be vigilant and find out if they are using any sorts of substance that we may not be aware. We think that our kids are not using, our teenagers. Number 4, self-harm or suicidal thoughts. That's where communication comes in, talking to our kids consistently and listening. Engaging in self-harm or expressing suicidal thoughts is a serious sign that needs to be taken care of urgently. You have to talk to your kids and find out where their mental state is, what's going on in their minds, what's going on with their emotions. Because sometimes they have these thoughts and we don't know, and they don't know who to talk to. They don't know who to talk to about it. You have to be an active parent and communicate with them consistently and don't judge them. Number 5, fear of conflict or overly complaint behaviors. Teens who seem excessively afraid to make mistakes may be under control of manipulation. You need to always be a support for your child where they know that, guess what? I'm always here for you. Don't allow anybody to put you in situations where you cannot make decisions on your own. Communication, with your child is very important. Steps to report abuse. And this is an important one because we see in social media right now where people are afraid to talk about what's going on with them because they don't want to be judged. And they don't want anybody to, start saying that they're lying. So if you suspect that a child or a teenager is being abused, it's vital to take action. Very, very vital. And it may be a scary thing to do and you're not sure, because I wasn't sure and I'm not sure about a lot of things sometimes, but I pray first. So if you're a praying person, pray first and ask God for guidance. And some steps that you can take to report abuse or suspicion of abuse in a discreet way is first, make note of your observations so that you know that you're right. You know your feelings and the things that you think that are happening are correct. Get a notebook. Observe things. Keep a record of any sign you notice, including dates, times, and specific behavior changes in a teenager or a child that you may notice, whether you are their aunts, their uncles, their friends, a supportive person in their life, or just somebody that really cares about this child. This information can be crucial when reporting because you're going to have to know why you believe that this is going on. So it's important to take notes and make sure your judgments aren't wrong. Make sure they're correct and you're accurate. Talk to your child. I just said this before. Active communication is so important because we forget something because we're taking care of the other kids that are maybe in your home. If you feel that something's going on, sit down with your child, talk to them, let them know that you are there, you love them, and you just want to make sure they're safe. Let them know that you're there to listen and support them without judgment. And let them talk. I've learned from a very important person in my life that now I can call friend, Vincent, that you got to sit sometimes, just listen to your children talk. Let them offload onto you. Let them tell you what's going on in their mind without you judging them and trying to tell them, well, this is what you think. No, just listen. Let them allow them to tell you their emotions and what's going on. Number 3. Don't be afraid to contact authorities. Do not be afraid to stand by your child and report it. If you believe a child or any child, your child, whoever it is in immediate danger, don't be afraid to call local enforcement or child protective service right away. Because a lot of times we say we don't want to get involved. It's not our kids, or we don't want to get this person in trouble. We're not sure what to do. My mom wasn't sure what to do. I went to the police station after and I retracted my story after my stepfather stood by me. There are so many resources and training to handle the situation. Find them. Help that person, because the worst part about it is them having to go through and battle it alone in their minds and not being able to pour out to anybody. Number 4, reach out to a supportive organization. There are many of them in today's day, not like back then. And I'm so glad for them because I didn't have it. Many organizations specialize in helping victims of abuse. And they are there. And you have to hold their hand and go through it with them. And there are other resources that can support and give you other resources that may better suit that child that is going through the process of abuse and reporting it, and give them proper guidance on how to proceed. And I need you to stand by them. Number 5, encourage the child, your child, whoever it is, to seek help, and you be that help. Let them know that you are there for them. Let them know that you're not going to leave them. Let them know you're going to stand by them. Encourage them to talk and that they can trust you. It's essential. It is essential that they know that they are not alone, because that's when they feel safe to say, I can do this and I don't have to be alone. I remember I had a guest, Azizo, and when she told me her mom stood by her, when she reported what her dad was doing to her, she felt safe. And she knew because her mom took control of the whole thing, the whole court process, and let her know she's a child. She doesn't have to do anything. Now, Let's talk about the dangers of keeping quiet, because I went through that danger. When I kept quiet and I just let it go because my mom told me, retract my story, it was the hardest thing I ever had to face in my life. The pain, the trauma really hurt me. The danger of staying silent is heartbreaking. Keeping quiet about the abuse can have devastating consequences that I experience. That victim may feel isolated, ashamed, scared, and trapped in their mind and still trapped in their trauma, leading to long-term psychological and emotional harm that I went through, and I had to get the help. You got to tell them, you have to explain to them the importance of speaking out. We're not only empowering them, but also helping them to break a cycle of abuse for future generations. So by speaking out, we're telling them that, hey, I hope you're enjoying this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Be at the forefront so that other people know that they don't have to be afraid and hold on to that, but to let it go and release and get the support that they need so it doesn't follow in their bloodline and in their generations. We got to be there for them. As we continue to reflect on the message of love this past Valentine's Day, guys, I just want you guys to remember that true love means supporting one another. That's what Valentine's Day means for me, is us really pouring out and loving on each other and supporting each other, being there for each other through hard times, happy times, whatever time it is, but especially in difficult times. Self-love and community care are all intertwined, and we need it. And this Valentine's Day, I want to celebrate that. I want to honor us just being there for each other, supporting each other, supporting the children that need us, our children, my child. It takes a village to raise a child. And I want you guys to remember, breaking the silence is the first steps towards healing. Breaking the silence is the first step towards giving yourself self-love and care and creating an environment of change and loving on each other. So really think about it. If you know, or if you or someone you know needs help, please reach out. Help your friends and family and loved ones find resources. Just don't back off and say, well, it's not my problem. I'm not dealing with it because it's not my child. It's not my problem. It's not my trauma. Yes, it is. Because in some way, everything affects us in some way. There are hotlines dedicated to abuse prevention. And together, we can make that difference. And that is what I want to celebrate this Valentine's Day. And this episode is dedicated to us really helping and supporting each other through the things that we need support on. It is not easy to support each other, but we need to learn to be more self-aware, not only for ourselves, but our loved ones, see things that they may not be able to see, stay vigilant, stay informed, and above all, stay brave through the process. We don't have to be alone. We don't have to fight these battles alone. And our loved ones shouldn't have to fight these battles alone. We may be scared to speak out. We may be afraid and not know what's going to happen if we speak out and we stand by them. But standing by them gives them the power and the courage to keep going. Gives them the power and the courage to know that you don't have to do alone. Speak out. Talk about it. Talk about what you're experiencing. Talk about how it makes you feel. And then help them find that support and help so they don't have to go through that mental anguish alone, because it's not easy. It's hard. It is painful. I remember when I experienced it. And, my stepdad automatically knew that it was true when I came out about my abuse. I told him. because he was the first person that said to me, because I told him, I said, I wasn't coming home. I'm scared. Da, da, da. And he's like, what's going on? What's going on? And he left. He left work and he came home and he asked me and I told him and he believed me right away. And the reason why he believed me right away is because of what I said. There are signs. Take note. If you see something or hear something or something makes your body feel off when this person's around you or a child or anybody, take notes. Search yourself and figure out why and start asking questions. Because when I told my stepdad, he believed me. I went to the police station and I made a report, and my mom and her family, everybody was in the house. And my mom said to me, if I don't go back and retract my story, I am not her daughter. And, you know, she said a lot of hurtful things that really broke me down because I felt like I wanted my mom's love. I never wanted my mom to never love me or feel like I was a bad child. So my stepdad told me that I can do whatever I want to do, but he wants me to know that he is there for me throughout everything and he's not going to leave my side and he has my back. But at that time, I wanted my mom's love more than his support, because that's my mom. If I remember, I told you guys that my mom left when I was a baby. I didn't meet my mom again until I was 5 years old. So I wanted that love. I wanted to know my mom. I wanted to get to know this beautiful woman who dresses me so nice and me and her always matching. I wanted that part of her to love me. I didn't want her to be mad with me. So I chose her love over my stepfather's support. And that really broke me down, because I think if my stepdad had said, I am also your guardian and I'm going to stand by you and I'm not going to let you make the wrong decision. I'm going to hold your hand and stick to your decision. Keep your story because it's your story and this is what really happened to you. Then, you know, the healing process for me would have been a lot different. So fast track. When my grandma passed away, I remember my stepfather telling me how he knew it was true, because I wanted to know, how did you know I was telling the truth? Because they say children lie, right? And he said to me he remembers a particular night that he heard a bang at his door. It's a bang. And he said when he heard the bang, he saw me and my uncle standing at the door. And he's questioned, why are we staying at the door? And I told him some story saying, oh, I don't remember the story, but I told him some story and my uncle told him some story. But he knew that night that something was going on. And he said from that night, he kept watching for signs. The other sign that he noticed was my uncle and I were always fighting. Why are you always fighting with your uncle? Why are you always angry at him? Then he realized that every time my mom and him were going out to a store or something, I always wanted to go. I never wanted to stay home, because I knew that my brother was going to go out with his friends and I would be stuck at home with my uncle. And he always questioned that. So when I say look out for the signs, there are always signs. Even if the sign is wee bit small, it's a sign. Pay attention to it. Jot it down. Memorize it. Right? And when he said that, that's how he knew it was true and something was really going on, because he saw the change in me. He saw the decline in my personality, my behavior, my happiness changed. So he knew something was going on. And he said to me, I said to him, so why didn't you do something earlier? He said, because he didn't have any proof. Like he's seen the signs, but he didn't want to make a wrong judgment. But he said once I came out and told, he knew that I was telling the truth. And he was there to support. Was he there the whole way? No, he wasn't there the whole way to make sure that I followed through with coming out, because he was a stepfather. Him and my mom weren't legally married. Her family hated him. He knew that I loved my mother. He knew that I loved my family. And because of what was going on in all this chaos, he didn't want to intervene, because he knew that if he intervened, they would fight him. And at the end of the day, my mother is my guardian. He is just a common law partner. So what could he have done? And I understand that and I forgive him. And I wish that he had done more to help me, help me along the way. I do forgive my mom as well because I know that she was also going through her own stuff where, she was trying to make her family accept her and love her all over again. And if that meant sacrificing her children, she was going to do that. So sometimes when people are going through their own things, they end up sacrificing their own child, their loved ones, a child in their life that they love and care about because they want people to accept them and they don't want to create chaos and confusion. But let me tell you this, and I'll tell you this honestly. If you know something is going on, whether it be with a child that you love, a child that's in your life, whoever the child is to you, your child, you know something's going on and you found out and they have come out and told you what's been going on with them. This hand, that hand, hug them. If you don't know what to say, just take your arms and wrap around them and just hug them and allow them to feel. Allow them to dump off on you. Allow them to cry. Allow them to express and feel every single emotion that is running through their body. And then just say, it's okay. I am here. I may not understand what you're going through, but I'm here to understand. I'm here to hold your hand. I'm here to be with you, and I'm here to support you through the whole process. You do not have to carry this burden alone. I am here to carry it with you and for you. Sometimes we don't know how to treat a child when they come out and tell us things. Because at the end of the day, it could be a stranger, it could be a loved one, it could be a partner, it could be a husband, it could be anybody. And we have that love for that person. But that child needs your love more than anybody else. And you don't have to worry about what anybody says about you because it is a greater blessing knowing that you were there for that child. You supported them through the process of healing and getting justice than leaving them out on the line to hang by themselves. Whatever you can do to support them, I ask you to please do it. Please do it. And this episode is so important to me because as we talk about Black History Month and Valentine's Day, and so beautiful they're all in the same month, right? But my thing is, as a Black community, we need to learn to support each other. It doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be material. But the emotions in our heart and the things that we do for each other is so important that we learn to stand by each other and not be afraid to stand alone for the right things. As we look in social media right now, we see children and adults and people coming out about the abuse that they face and the things that they've gone through. We see people calling them crazy and saying that they're liars and, forming their own opinions, but they don't know what that person's going through. And I intertwine it with Valentine's Day because we gotta learn to give love and support each other. Give love and support each other. An act of love is support. An act of love is simply holding somebody's hand and saying, I am with you regardless. I am here and I will support you through the whole process. Even if you do not understand what they are going through, even if you don't know what to say, just be there. Just be there. It's a popular YouTube family that I watch a couple of their episodes sometimes, and they're a Jamaican family, and I absolutely admired their family. I thought that they were, a great family, and I still don't doubt that they are a great family. I think that, people do things and go through different things in their life and in different seasons, and we may not understand it, right? And there was a case that came out that inappropriately touched his stepdaughter. And everybody wants or says that the mother should come out and talk about it and explain it to the media. And this case has me like on my seat because I never wanted to touch it because, I was like, I don't want to get in trouble for something, speaking on something that I know nothing about. But one part about it that I can speak about freely because I've experienced it. I've experienced coming out and not having my mother support me. And that was the most painfulest time of my life. And I carried it with me as an adult woman. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. And I didn't know how to build a relationship with her because you left me. You didn't support me. You chose your family over the love of me, the person that loves you the most. I love my mom so much. And I carried it with me because I felt like, okay, well, a mom's supposed to support their child. A mom's supposed to be there for their child. And, be there. Believe your child and ask questions later. You can sort it out with the person after, but always believe your child first. That is your child. You have to listen to them because whether or not they're telling a lie or the truth, even if it is a lie, to cry out for help. And something's going on with that child that you need to figure out as the parents. So this is all happening in social media, and mom hasn't really come out and said anything. She hasn't said anything about the case. And stepfather is still posting as if he's innocent. He had a whole interview saying that he didn't do nothing and the case was dismissed or withdrawn or whatever the case may be. But really, though, the case was dropped because there wasn't enough evidence. Not enough evidence doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Not enough evidence does not mean that it didn't happen. The amount of time that it took for somebody to come out does not mean that it did not happen. Okay? Let's get that straight. And he's still saying that she's the best daughter ever. Let me tell you something. I'm going to go into detail about this case on another episode because it's a lot of things that I want to dissect. But because I experienced it and I went through something like that, I know exactly what's happening. They are silencing her because when I came out about my uncle, I did go to the police station. I reported it with my stepdad. The whole family, grandparents, great uncles and aunts, cousins, my own mother convinced me. They manipulated me, said how they loved me and they're here for me, and to retract my story because he was already facing charges on something separate. But something separate that does not involve me, but involves what I'm saying that he did. So because he was on charges for something similar to what he did to me, and they didn't really believe that he did it with the pending case that he had, when I came out and said something, they thought that I was just lying and making it up because I had a secret boyfriend and I didn't want my parents to find out about it. They made me retract my story, so I knew that they were never going to believe me or stand by me. They silenced me. They pretended like they were there for me just to silence me. And I went on living my life like a normal child. Smile on my face, none of my friends knew. Smile on my face every day, acting goofy, doing things like a normal child. But the inside of me was breaking into pieces. And I could not wait until I turned 19 to leave home. I used to daydream about leaving. I used to daydream about the type of boyfriend and husband I was going to have and how safe I was going to be and the life I was going to create for myself, and that I was going to love my children and never, ever, ever, ever leave them or hurt them. And I did it. I left when I was 19. I never went back. And I created the lifestyle that I wanted. But the healing journey was hard. It wasn't easy for me. It was the hardest time of my life because there was moments where I thought I was healed. I thought that everything was good for me. I thought that I was healed. I was good. I was enjoying life. Not realizing that the fears, the insecurities, the hiding away from a camera, not wanting to go on the screen was because of what I went through. Not being able to fully sexually give up myself to my partner was because of what I faced as a child. Always undermining myself, my strengths, my abilities, who I was as a woman and a person and becoming. I undermined, I questioned all of me. Every single part of me I questioned. I never had that childhood where I was acknowledged for the things that I accomplished in my life. Finishing high school, going to college, getting a beautiful and successful career. I never had it. But my mother loved me. She loved me. I know she loves me. She was proud of me when people were around. She was proud of me when she was telling people about her big, beautiful daughter. Look, Pamedata, beautiful. But she was never there for me. And we have to realize that love is just support. Love is just time. Love is just genuine. Love is just pure. Love is just simply being there and holding somebody's hand and letting them know that they're not alone and they're valued and that you care about them and that you will be there. So not just as a Black community, but as a community that is going through things, and as the world is turning and things are happening and there's so much chaos, but God is in it. Regardless of what we want to think, regardless of how things look, He's in it. But love conquers all. And I need you guys to love these children, teenagers, young adolescents, whatever it is. You need to love them, communicate with them, sit down with them and have a conversation about what they're going through. Ask them about their day and let them tell you. Ask them what's going on in their minds and let them tell you, and you'll find out a whole lot. Pay attention to children because they speak through their actions, their body language, their responses. They speak through their education, how they show up, how they show up for themselves, how they carry themselves. They speak through all of that. When I was younger, I was a teenager. My abuse started when I was approximately 12 years old, and it stopped when I was a teenager. And everything changed in the way that I carried myself, my dressing. I didn't want to look appealing. I was trying to cover up and hide every part of my body because I thought, okay, well, if I hide my body, ain't nobody going to be attracted to me. Nobody. I couldn't tell my mom what I was going through because we never had a relationship. Yes, she questioned how school was. Yes, she questioned how, our homework and our things are going, but she never allowed us to communicate back. You understand? There's a difference. When you question your children, be open to hear what they have to say. Don't just say, how was school? And when they say good, you skip on to another question. How was school? Let them ramble on. Oh yeah? What made school good today? What did you eat for lunch? What did you learn in class? And let them talk. Give them the floor to talk and communicate. Give them the floor to be open with you. I couldn't tell my mom anything. And maybe if I had a proper relationship with my mom when I was a teenager where she allowed me to communicate with her and we went on dates, we went to, maybe the movies, maybe go have lunch together, dinners, go get our nails done together more often, do things together, she would have seen the signs. Having children is not just about feeding them, clothing them, putting a shelter over their head, and making sure that they get good grades and they come out successful. Having children is also about building a bond and a relationship with them where you know what's going on with them. You can support them and be there for them. Breaking generational cycles is a lifestyle. It's not a thing we do, it's a consistent thing, because sometimes we do things that we don't even realize. Oh my gosh, this is a generational thing. Like literally, I said to my partner, I was like, do you know daddy used to do that when daddy used to do that? And now you're doing it. We breaking that. We are breaking that. So that we're moving in life and we're working and we're trying to keep up with everything. Whether it's sports with our kids, whether it's just working, our bosses, life is happening, our parents, it has become our responsibility. We forget to sit down and communicate with our kids and find out what's really going on. We don't even see the patterns and the cycle and the things that we have inherited from our family, from our parents, our grandparents, that we should have broke. So we have to be vigilant. Even with the way they're raising our kids, like I had to back up and be like, hold on. I said I wasn't going to do what my mom did. So why am I communicating like that with my son? My mom used to communicate like that. And then I'll check myself. I'll literally sit down with myself and be like, okay, oh no, Jen. You got to break that cycle, girl. You know you said you were going to do it. Why you? And I'll check myself and I'll analyze myself and I'll root it out and figure out ways to root it out. And I'll talk to my kids and I'll apologize to them. And I'll let them know the things that I went through so that we don't repeat it as mother, daughter, as mother, son, father. Our whole relationship and dynamic has to change. So listen, guys, be vigilant, pay attention, be aware, not just self-aware, but your surroundings. Be aware what's happening in your home, what's happening with your kids when their energy's off. You have to be a discerner. You have to feel things in your spirit and ask God to give you that discerning spirit. Ask God to give you those emotions and that parental bond that we know what's going on with our kids and we know when something's off. That parental awareness. Ask God for it if you don't have it. Learn how to get it. Parental awareness is important because we can analyze. Like my son, my daughter will come around and I know something's wrong. I know if they've been crying. I know if school didn't go well. I know if they're hiding something. I know if they don't feel right. Like we have to have that parental awareness, that a parental alarm that goes off when somebody steps in the room and your child's body language changes, their facial expressions, their heart is racing. We can pick up on that. They were in us for 9 months, mommy. And even if they weren't in us for 9 months, and you are not their biological parent, but you are their parent. You are now their nurturer. You cared for them. You are their step parent. You are their foster parent, whatever it may be. Their godparent, their guardian. You need to build that connection with them. Study your children internally and externally so you can see what's going on and feel it and help them through whatever they're going through. Just listen. Just pay attention. Put your binoculars on and look at what is going on, because a lot of times, yes, we are busy with work and life and everything that's happening with us, but things are happening with them too, and we are their guide. We are their support. We are their roadmaps. So guys, as we continue to break these cycles together, as we continue to learn together, as we continue to be aware of not only ourselves, but our children, our loved ones, and the people in our lives and other kids around us. Let's learn to love and support each other. This Valentine's Day, I'm excited because we are loving on each other. Happy Black History Month as we continue to honor and celebrate and give flowers to our Black community, our loved ones that are doing things and continuing to do things. Let's continue to extend love and give their flowers to them and support our children because they are going through it. And we are going to be a sounding board and a support and hold their hands throughout the whole entire process. Guys, I have a very special guest next week that will be talking about all of this with us. He will be dissecting community and being there for our children, making sure that they're successful and not just doing the basics and the things that we think they should do. Just pass school, just get through it. No, it's not just get through it. Get through it as a champion. So next week, guys, I have a special guest and I am excited to share him with you. And I have his books here that I am absolutely in love with. And I'm going to show them to you. And this guest, his name is Vincent Garnett. And guys, look at this amazing book that he made. It's called Missing Dad, and it's all about growing up without a father, not knowing your father, and how you navigated through life, but still became successful, still forgave and gave grace, and didn't let your circumstances hold you back from becoming who God called you to be, that person, that man or woman. And we're going to dissect. And we're going to have a good time with him. And I can't wait. Look at all these colors in this book. Look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm so excited to share this guest with you. He is phenomenal. And he's not only an author, but he's an educator. Sorry, guys, I'm still getting over the flu. He is an educator. He is a principal. And he is going to tell us about his amazing programs that he does to make sure that, you know what, our Black kids get fairly treated and we are involved in their lives. We are helping them get scholarships. We're helping them be successful and not just getting C's, but getting A's and getting that scholarship. And the second book I have, which listen, I'm excited about this one because it's a workbook. And this workbook is all about, you know, kids. They're doing quizzes, they're learning what does ceremony mean, you know. And my favorite part of the book, I'm going to find it, guys, it talks about it's this part. Let's talk about you. How many times do we get kids to talk about themselves and what they're going through? How many times do we ask them, for example, what is your most positive and supportive relationship? How does this person or person or people support you? How does it make you feel? Do we ever ask our kids that? Who do they see as their most supportive person in their life? Who's the most supportive person in your life? Do we ever ask them that? Do we ever check in with them? They can write on this whole page about who that person is. Then this one, I love this one. What do you think your responsibilities are towards the people who make a positive impact on you? Let's ask him that. If these people are so positive in your life and they're there for you and they are mentors, they are supporters, they are your gal, your guy, what is your responsibility to them? How do you want them to see you? I love this. Then this question is so important. What relationship do you wish was different? What would you change about the relationship? A lot of times our kids, they have all these emotions about their parents, us, even us. If they write in this book about maybe I wish my relationship was different with mom or dad because they're always working. You know, I know they're working to support me, but I need them more actively in my life. Guys, I love this book. So next week we have Vincent Garnett. He's going to join us and we're going to have a fun time with him. And I cannot wait. Guys, thank you for tuning in with me today. Your girl, Jen Simpson. I just love my name. Love my name. Thank you for tuning in with me. Thank you for joining. To my new subscribers, welcome to the Life's Deceit podcast. To my longtime subscribers, I love you guys. Please continue to send me DMs. I know most of you guys clearly don't like to comment, but before you leave this video, please, number one, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave me a comment. I want to hear from you. I want to read your comments. I want to know if there's any topics or any guests that you guys want me to bring back. Guys, until next time, I'm Jen Simpson. Love you. Happy Valentine's Day again. Happy belated Valentine's Day and happy Black History Month. Let's continue to show each other love, grace, and everything. Until next time, I'm Jen Simpson, and thanks for tuning in to Life's Deceit's podcast.